Welcome once again. I love to have everybody here with us at the Community Podcast. And as you know, you could be anywhere doing anything, but instead you chose to spend the time with us. And I thank you so very much for inviting us into your space. Today, I'm going to have a very special guest. I've known her for a few years. I've had an opportunity to see her in action, and I can tell you what she's going to bring to you today is something not only very valuable, something she's very good at. Now, one of my pet peeves, here's one of my pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is talking to individuals. And these individuals might say something like, well, if I just had enough money. How many times have you all heard that? If I just had enough money. Well, as my old dad used to say when I asked him for a quarter, they don't grow on trees. So Absolutely. You have to be able to get out there, not just make money, but know what to do with your money. And then you will have money. Okay? So when we talk about that, I've seen instances where individuals get in certain situations and they know what to do, and certain individuals get in the same situation and they ain't got a clue. But I got somebody gonna give you a clue. Welcome, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Mr. Jones. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, and I'm so glad that you said you would donate your time and energy to help us out, because this is something we sorely need.
Absolutely. We're supposed to help each other network and put the information out there for everyone to use.
Yes, ma'am, and that's a beautiful thing. I'm a big sports fan, and you know that.
Yes,
and
sir.
One of the things that I could never figure out, I'm like, I got these guys like Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, all kind of basketball players that made over $100 million in their lifetime.
Right.
And most of these individuals are broke. So tell me, how does that happen, Ms. Brooks?
Mr. Jones, to start off, and you should know about this, it's with discipline. Yeah. You have to have discipline. Saving, budgeting, and managing your finances all role play with discipline. If you don't have discipline, you're going to lose it. If you don't have a financial plan, and within that plan, you incorporate your discipline strategies, you will lose it. And that's what happens with a lot of millionaires and sometimes billionaires. When we think of wellness, we always think about spiritual wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, but we often forget about financial wellness. And if you think about it, your finances play a role in reference to all the other environmental wellness, physical wellness, social wellness, etc. But I want to start off today with giving you some key notes on how to start, or if you already have started, where you can begin to get on the right track. Right now, there are 2 points with financial wellness. It's security and freedom of choice. You have present and you have future. Now, in the present, you're having control over your day-to-day, monthly expenses. In your freedom of choice, you're able to make choices that makes you happy. That's having financial growth, financial wealth, and some people say financially healthy. Now, in the future with security, when you're in the present and having day-to-day and monthly finances, you have control over it. If you progress and do well in that area, you will have the capacity in the future. And if you ever get into any kind of shock, any kind of financial trouble, if you did what you were supposed to do in the present and budget, have that discipline that you needed with your monthly expenses, with your day-to-day expenses, you will be fine. In the element of freedom of choice, if you make the right decisions with spending your money wisely to enjoy life, in the future, you will be on track with meeting your goals. And where I say meeting your goals, every 10 years, an individual should have a certain amount of cash flow, a certain amount of savings in their account. If you don't, you're going to come into roadblocks. And that's where many millionaires and billionaires come into going bankrupt, Mr. Jones, or just going into debt. As we stated, there are individuals that play NBA, and now some of them are even homeless. But they have to have that financial discipline, which is the foundation to a successful financial life. All right, I want to also explain about 4 domains that need to be taken in consideration when you're dealing with financial wellness. You have, as I stated in the beginning, budgeting. You have debt that you have to take into consideration. You have savings and protection, and I'm gonna go over all 4 of those if you don't mind. When you're talking about your budgeting, you're looking at what you bring on weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and you're taking out what your expenses are, and you're making sure your expenses don't go over a certain amount of your income.
Yep.
Research shows that a person should save at least 10% of their income every month, and they should be able to have enough money to cover them until they get paid after paying their monthly expenses. But it all comes with budgeting. For example, don't go out and get an iPhone and your bill is $200 when you could go get another phone from AT&T and your bill is $100. That's proper money management budgeting. All right. If you do that well, and if you do have a problem doing it, you can make yourself a spending assessment. Whether you want, it's a pro and a con to everything you do. So where the spending assessment come in, if you're still doing well with financially managing your money, still, this is what I do. I assess my money every month because you don't know, anything can happen. And while I'm budgeting, some months I have more money to set to aside. So that's why it's best to assess, just like you assess any other situation, you need to assess your finances. And it goes back into, again, financial discipline. How do you feel about budgeting? Do you have that drive? You have to have that drive to want to budget your money. If you don't have that urge and you don't have that drive, it's just like having one of your favorite ice cream. You got that urge, you got to have it. That's the same thing you got to do when you're dealing with budgeting. All right, debt. Debt. Is your debt more than what you got coming in? And a lot of people do that. Yeah. Their outgoing is more than their incoming, meaning their monthly expenses is more than what they make, and that will mess you up. If you do the math, you automatically in the negative. Then you go to borrowing from Peter, from Paul, and you in more debt. So that's where it comes into making sure your debt coincides with how much you make a month. Types of debt. Some people have a lot of credit card debt, negative. It's okay to have a mortgage debt because that's an asset. It's okay to have car debt because you need that for transportation. You need a phone, but you got to know the differences between your needs and your wants when it's dealing with your debts. That is one key vital point. Needs, wants. And a lot of us get mixed up with thinking that our wants is more important than our needs. Because we trying to, how should I say it? It's our society. We're trying to have this image. Yeah. When in the end, you will have that image and your success will show as your money grows. You don't have to do all that. All right. One of my favorites, credit score. Currently, my credit score is at 820. I've always managed excellent credit. Started at the age of 18 with one credit card. And that's all I could do. That's the only time you should worry about a credit card. It's when you're 18 between 21. Don't get no big balance or credit limit. Say, for instance, 500. Creditors do not want you to be over 30% of the credit that they provided you. So say, for instance, you get a $500 credit limit. Monthly, when they looking at your credit and they reporting it to the 3 credit bureaus, your balance that you owe the bank or whoever you're financing that credit through shouldn't be over $200 a month.
Right.
That's how I do it. And then what really gets the banks and what really impresses them and make them increase your limit and make them increase your score is when you pay the balance off. It's just like having a black card. If you charge something 1 month, pay it off that month.
Yeah.
That makes that creditor say, oh, wow, we need to give this person more money. They got this right here. They just paying it off. So they let us know they got more money to the side where they can use and we can get their business. So make sure you keep your credit up. As I was saying, my first one was when I was 18. My first home I purchased, I was the age of 23. I purchased my first house before I bought a car. And you also got to know what to buy first. Do not go out and buy a brand new car first. Why? Because when the creditors look at your credit, they're going to say, okay, you paying $500 for this car. We can't give you this $150,000 house. You're going to have to go down and get a $100,000 house so we can make sure we're going to get our money.
Yeah.
So things that impact your credit score. What's on there? How often you make your on-time payments? How often you go and you get inquiries to establish or get credit? And if you get doctor bills, etc., charge-offs, that hurts your credit tremendously. So make sure you watch your credit score. By law, every citizen in America get 2 free credit scores a year. And a lot of people don't know that. And sometimes, depending on what bank you bank with, like I bank with Bank of America, of course, Capital One is the first and the largest bank in the United States. Bank of America is the second. But they send me my credit score every month. So make sure if you don't have a bank that does that for you, you inquire that inquiry every 6 months. Only thing you need is your social security number, your name, and your address or your W-2 or your last pay stub. All right, moving right along. With debt, you just got to understand the burden of debt. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed. Sometimes you can manage it. Sometimes some people just say, I'm not going to worry about it. You can't go out here and get all this and that and just still expect to live and not pay the merchant back for the merchandise or the items that you obtain. You have to pay it back because if you don't, that will mess your credit score up. Yeah. No doubt. And then again, the foundation. How is your feelings about debt? You have to be disciplined. There's a lot of things out there I want to go get and want to have. But right now, I have 4 homes and 1 car. Some people have 1 home and 4 cars. You got to know what kind of debt to have. Those mortgages look good on my credit. It makes the bank want to give me more money for more mortgages. Car notes depreciate. House appreciate. So you got to keep that in mind. And when you pay your mortgages down, you have home equity. Banks look at that as well. That shows them your value. It calls your net worth. When they subtract your liability from your assets. Liability is something that you still have to pay for. Your assets is totally yours. For example, I purchased a piece of land next door to my home right now. Cash. It was worth 30, but I paid 15. The equity in it was already 15, and I don't have a mortgage, just to put it like that. So with that being said, I already accumulated $30,000 onto my income, which is just going to be there. So you got to know what debt or what to have on you when it comes to obtaining your credit score. So you got land, you got it, you good. You can buy anything. All right, saving. A lot of people don't like to save. And you got to learn to save. Saving, as I stated a few minutes ago, you should save at least 10% of your income monthly. If you don't have any savings, you won't have any peace of mind. I love having my peace of mind. I love being able to wake up in the morning saying, if I don't have a job today, I can still live for a year. That's how you should live in life. That's how you have financial wellness. If your financial well-being is not right, who they gonna go right?
Right.
You're gonna get sick. Things going to get messed up, and when your finances messed up, your personal life get messed up, your job, your environment at work get messed up. Everything just get messed up. And they say money is the root of, but that's just how money is. So make sure you have a savings. That's one of the domains of financial wellness. And if you do save, don't consider retirement funds. Savings, when I'm talking about saving, is money. How much money are you saving when you flip that house, when you get that cash out of that property you sold? How much you putting in the bank? How much are you saving when you get out of that paycheck? After you pay all your bills for the month, after you get all your needs and not your wants, how much money are you putting in your savings account? That's what a savings. And going back down to the foundation again, it's about discipline. How do you feel about saving? Is saving important to you? It has to be important. And savings is important to me. My savings is what caused me to be able to go on a trip every month. Some people be like, how do you do this? How you do that? I say, easy, with savings. I said, I don't just go out and just buy anything it look like I do, but I know what to buy. You got to have that financial discipline. And the last one, protection. Protection. What I mean about protection, insurance. If something happens to you and all the things you have, you accumulated, and this is how a lot of people do go bankrupt and family fighting over their assets, you should have enough life insurance in the event something happened to you so everything can keep going. Because whoever you leave everything to is not going to have that kind of income you had or from generation to generation. You want to keep the wealth in the family. That's what I consider financial wellness. Keeping it in the family. You want the tradition to go down. You want to break generational curses. So with that being said, having protection, which is insurance, will save you that mental. And not only life insurance. Some people have short-term, long-term disability. What if you get hurt at work? Make sure you have protection. And if you have that protection, you'll know you're going to be okay at the point something breaks, at the point a traumatic family emergency come up. You gotta, and I don't see where people have to make GoFundMe on social media to bury their families. But if you have invest in that life insurance where you pay $10 to $15, $20, $30, the younger you are, the less you're gonna pay. I always try to tell people, like my son turned 18, I said, get you some insurance right now, because when you get 40, 50, it's gonna be way higher. It'll stay the same amount over a long period of time. But what I try to tell people, make sure you have enough life insurance in the event something happens and everything is covered and your family would be debt free. It's kind of like they will break even. All right, so last thing I'm going to explain to you is about most people say the 80-20 rule. Well, with financial wellness, it's the 70-20 rule, which is 70% is how you're doing. How you're doing with your money, with your saving, with your budgeting, with your debt, to 30% how you're feeling. Are you sticking with that discipline strategy? Are you saving every month? Are you prioritizing your debt? Are you assessing things that you accrue monthly? Because not every month your bills and your income going to be the same. Sometimes you get raises. Sometimes you add on extra bills. That's when it comes into play, assessing, just like giving a student a test. When they get done with the chapter, you assess them. And that's the same thing you have to do with your finances. And if you do that, you will be successful in life. You will have financial freedom. You will have financial wellness, and more your realm, everything about you will be more, better. You'll be happy. Like people at work, like, why are you so happy all the time? I don't have no reason not to be happy. God, I got everything. I did what I was supposed to do. This is how it is. And then they say, well, help me. And I do that. And I do it with no cost, because as Americans, we're supposed to help each other. And if anything I could do to help the person next to me get to where I'm at, that's what I would like to do. And I want them to be where I am.
Okay, and that was excellent insight. And I like the way that you explain that. We have too many people who, once they attain a certain place in life, they act like they're scared to help other folks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I really don't like that, but I see it a lot. They'll get to a certain place, they'll have the knowledge and ability to influence and help others to get there, but they won't reach their hand out.
You're right.
They won't reach that hand out. One of the things that I've noticed, and here's where the problems really started at.
Mm-hmm.
We do not know generational income and how to affect generational income. Even after slavery was over, because we had no income to generate and pass down. After that was over, you look at the situations as they transpired.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the blacks who were in the South worked on somebody's farm as a sharecropper. So you were always in debt. You had nothing to pass down. The ones who moved north, they had to suffer through redlining, and with redlining, they couldn't buy the type property that they could pass down to their children. Those children would have something, and that denied us the knowledge of how to build wealth for a long time.
Yes,
so
sir.
when I meet people who do know how to generate that, my eyes light up, because I'm like, yeah, somebody's getting it. Somebody got it, and somebody's doing the right thing with it. One of the things that gets me every time, I'll be driving through a neighborhood and I'll see an $80,000 house and a $120,000 car in the driveway. That makes no sense.
Negative. Yes.
That makes no sense. But a lot of people don't understand what you were talking about as far as appreciation and depreciation. They have no clue. 4 years down the road, that car is worth little or nothing. You know what I mean? Where if they had put it in a house, they'd be building up some generational income for
there. You go. Absolutely.
I mean, it's unreal. And I like the fact that you deal with a lot of real estate.
Yes, sir.
One thing that a lot of people don't understand, I had an old man tell me this a long time ago. He was like, I ain't gonna call myself what he called me.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't young no more. But anyway, he said, look here. He said, one thing that you can't make no land. He said, once it's gone, it's gone.
There
so
you go.
Better get you some while you can and do something with it. And he's 100% right.
Yes.
He was 100% right.
You got land, you good.
Yeah. And it's like I love to see people who not only can attain but maintain.
Yes, sir.
And then you share that, and things will get better. That's one thing I can't understand with a lot of people. A lot of folks, they look at stuff from a racial point of view, and it's not that. It's a green point of view.
Yes, sir.
When you see folks who are out there struggling, and that's why I can't get it. Of all races, we're out here struggling, trying to make it, right?
You're right.
But you got a small percentage that they up here, been up here, staying up here, and got us fighting over the peanuts down here.
There you go. You're right.
We ain't got sense enough to figure it out, band together and say, hey, we tired of peanuts.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to give us some of them cashews y'all eating up there.
There you go.
But until we figure out how to work things so that we are financially secure,
yes,
and
sir,
financially healthy, people gonna treat you any kind of way they want to.
You're right.
That's just the way it is.
And when you're right, Mr. Jones, I agree with you and I co-sign with what you stated. You're absolutely right. When your finances are in order, you get, how should I say it, different treatment, I notice.
Yep.
You get more respect. And it shouldn't be that way. You should get respect. You should be respected no matter what. But I have noticed when I go into dealerships, they don't ask for check stub. They don't ask for driver license like they do other people. And they kind of make me feel some type of way, good and bad. But I notice it should be like that all the way around. But unfortunately, it's not, because we lack the knowledge about how to be financial well. And as you stated, it is a good topic with what's going on in the world now, especially in inflation. We all should get educated on how to become financially well. And it's not too late. I hope people out there don't think it's too late. It's never too late.
Thank you.
All 7 times, get back up to 8th. You can always start. And if anybody got any questions, you got my contact information. They can reach out to me for free. I love helping others because I'm here to do a job and serve. And sometimes other people don't have the means to pay somebody to teach them or pay somebody to counsel them. And that's where people with good heart come into play. And I'm here for that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've seen that firsthand, so I can attest that what you're saying is 100% true.
Yes, sir.
And it's getting to be such a competitive world.
You're right.
We're no longer competing with people in just the area that we live in. You're competing with people around the globe for everything. And as we move more and more in that direction, we have to learn more of the rules to the game so that we can win at the game. If you don't know the rules, you ain't never gonna win.
Exactly. And can I share one more thing with you?
Absolutely.
I don't know if you know, but I just learned 3 of my kids I adopted are Chickasaw Indians.
Wow.
And yeah, so you know what that means.
Yes, ma'am.
God is good. People used to look at me and say, why she got them kids? Why she got that kind? Not being mean. It's a reason for everything. And in this world, we're supposed to support diversity.
Yes, ma'am.
I have all different shades of kids. But to come back to part, I didn't know they were Chickasaw Indians until 3 years ago. Something just told me to go, get all my kids checked, get COVID, get this, get that. Come to find out they're Native Americans. And people ask me, and I look back now at those people that down me for getting the kids I obtained, as adoption. They're totally different color from me. But now I look back and I say it's a reason for everything. That was my path.
Mm-hmm.
And look where I'm at now. They get money they get money every month. When they get 18, their college tuition is paid for all the way up to a doctorate degree. Only thing I have to do as a parent is be in their life, motivate them, and make sure they keep going.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to share that. There's a lot of things out there. Like you said, there's a lot of strategies, and people have to know. You have to do research. It's a lot, and there's other grants out there. It's when first-time home buyers, people don't know these apartments they renting with a certain amount of credit. Say, for instance, you don't have an 800, and we'll get into that another time. I love talking about credit. I'm going to say this. You don't have to have an 800 credit score to get a house. You can have a 640 now, but you have to get it out in a rural area, and it got to be a USDA home.
Right.
So people it's different things. And it's an FHA. That's federal housing. You can get a home loan FHA. And then you have the traditional loan. That's probably where you probably VA. You got VA and then you got traditional. Traditional is where you just flat out get the money from the bank. You live wherever you want to live. But what I'm trying to say is people that are paying $1,000 and how rent don't went up, $1,500 for apartments. If they got a credit score of 640, they can be in a house. And they don't even know that.
Well, one of the things that most people don't understand, Ms. Brooks, and I found this out a long time ago when I was in the military. They don't understand that more than likely, you can get a house with the same dimensions and then you can for renting for less money.
You're absolutely right.
Your house payment going to be less than what your rent was. Most people don't understand that, and they're intimidated about going to buy a house because they think it's such a big. It's not. So one of the things you said, I just wanted to chime in while it's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Never worry about what people say. And I know you don't, but what they say about you and what you did, you was doing God's work.
Yes, sir.
That's what you were doing. You're doing God's work. You're taking care of kids who ain't had nobody take care of.
You're
and
right.
When you do something like that, you gonna be blessed. So for people to complain or get angry about what you're doing, you know what I say? You get your behind out here and get some kids to take care of.
Amen. Thank you.
I mean? So don't even let them people flex on you like that.
Yes, sir.
But you are God's child, taking care of God's children.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you doing that.
Yes, sir.
And the last thing that I think I'm going to say for today is, folks, everything that she said today, I guarantee you, if you check it, it's going to be right.
Mhm.
Everything she shared with you today. And I appreciate you taking that time, because like I said, most people, they get to a certain level and they act like they ain't got time for nobody else.
Never that. And if you would like, Mr. Jones, in future sessions, I don't mind breaking it down into components. One day I can teach classes about credit. One, day I can not teach. I'm getting into the teacher mode. Let me get back into the business mode. But one day I can provide information about different areas. And if you would like, we could start class sessions to people that want to rebuild their lives and get to where they need to be. So I'm very interested. No cost. We're here to help each other. This is what it should be about in the world right now. Networking friendly and
we will certainly make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Make that happen.
Okay.
Don't hang up on me. Hold the line.
Okay.
And I gotta say, folks, I hate it. It seems like I love 45 minutes just flies by. Because I mean, I love being with y'all. Love being with people like Ms. Brooke, and to have that knowledge just float around. And I learned stuff today. I like that. So please don't forget us, Community Podcast. You go right now to the discussion site, link it with the podcast, and give us your knowledge. Share some of your knowledge about what we talked about today. Always love to see that. And once again, God bless you. Have a great day. Thank you.